Hello everyone. In this video, we will learn about first normal form in database normalization. What is meant by normalization that we have already seen in the previous video? It is a database design technique which is used to organize the tables in such a way that it should reduce the redundancy or the dependency of the data. So we have various normalization forms. That is, one is first normal form, then second normal form, third normal form, Boy Scout normal form, fourth normal form, etc. So here we will see what is a first normal form, or in short we call it as 1NF. So in the first normal form, a relation is said to be in first normal form if it contains atomic value. What does it mean by atomic value? Atomic value means in a relation there shouldn't be an attribute shouldn't have multiple values. So it should have only single value in that one. So first normal form, it doesn't allow multi-valued attribute, composite attribute and the combinations of that one. So basically we have to eliminate duplicate columns from the same table. So in first normal form, what we have to do is we have to create separate tables for each group of related data and identify each row with unique column or set of columns. So let us see an example so that you can clearly understand. So now we are considering one example here. In this relation, you can see there are attributes roll number, name, branch, address and phone. So in this attributes, you can see for the column phone, for the attribute phone, you can see there are multiple values present here in this tuple. So basically this is multi-valued attribute. So if for the attribute phone, you can see there are more than one value for that particular column. So that means that this relation is not in first normal form, because first normal form condition is that it shouldn't allow multi-valued attribute. So here multi-valued attribute phone is present here. So this is not in first normal form. So now we have to basically convert this one into first normal form. How can we convert this table or relation into first normal form? So what we can do is we can separate it out, this multi-valued attributes. This multiple values, what we can do is the first value we can put it in one row, the second value we can put it in another tuple. So we can make each value we can put it in each tuple, so that in single tuple there won't be multiple values. So when we do like that, this is the relation what we get. What we have done is we have separated it into multiple tuples. So for roll number 1 here you can see there is only one phone number. So whereas in the previous table you could see here for roll number 1 there are 3 phone numbers, 1, 2, 3. So what we have done is instead of putting in single tuple, we are putting this in 3 separate tuples. So we got in 3 separate tuples. Similarly for roll number 2 here we have 2 phone numbers that we are separating into 2 more tuples. But when you check for this table, you can see that there are a lot of redundant data. Why? Because here you see in name. Name is repeating because the phone number belongs to the same person. So the name is repeating, branch is getting repeated, address is getting repeated. So this creates redundant data in the relation. So what we have to do is now we can decompose the table, this table into 2 tables. So when we are keeping like this, actually we remove the multi-valued attribute, but in effect what happened is that it increased the redundancy. So what we have to do is we divide this or decompose this table into 2 separate table. How we can separate this table? Why this name is getting repeated, branch is getting repeated, address is getting repeated? Because of the attribute phone number. So which attribute is creating this redundant data? So that attribute or the attribute which is having multi-valued attribute, that you can separate it out from this table. So when you are decomposing this table into 2 relations, what we do is this phone number, that is multi-valued attribute which was in the original relation. So that phone number and the key attribute we will separate it out. So key attribute here it is roll number. So roll number and the multi-valued attribute. So roll number and multi-valued attribute means phone. So we will create a new relation which is having attribute roll number and phone. That will be our first relation. The second relation we will be creating, see the first relation is this one, the original relation is this one, And what we have to do is we have to remove the multi-valued attribute from the original relation. So when we are removing the multi-valued attribute from the original relation, you can see that which attribute is having multi-valued attribute. It is phone number. That is from the original table. See, from the original table, this is the multi-valued attribute. So when we remove this multi-valued attribute, what are the remaining attributes? Roll number, name, branch and address. So what we do is we will be forming one table with roll number, name, branch and address. That is, from the original relation, you separate it out the multi-valued attribute and form a relation. And the separated out this multi-valued attribute and the key attribute, you form the another table. So here you'll be getting two separate relation. One is with the key attribute and the multi-valued attribute, and the second table will be the original table minus the multi-valued attribute. So we'll be getting the second table with roll number, name, branch and address. So we call it as R1 and R2. So R1 is first relation in which you have the key attribute and the phone number, and the second relation is R2, which is consisting of all attribute except the multi-valued attribute. So these are the two relations which we are getting. Now we'll see what is this, how it looks like. So R1, we have roll number, then phone number here. Then second relation, we have all the attributes except the multi-valued attributes, that is roll number, name, branch and address. So here you have all those things. Now you see here it is, there are no repetitive values here. So this is what we got now after decomposing the original relation into two relations R1 and R2, where in R1 we can take this roll number and phone as the key attribute, and in R2 we can take roll number as the key attribute. So now this two relations is in first normal form because it doesn't have any multi-valued attribute. This is how you decompose a relation into first normal form. So you have to identify the multi-valued attribute and separate it out. The multi-valued attribute, you have to separate it out and you form another relation removing this multi-valued attribute. And one relation you will be making along with multi-valued attribute and the key attribute. So this two relations R1 and R2 are in first normal form. This is the first normal form. Thank you for watching. I hope you understood what is the first normal form. And this is how you can decompose a relation into a first normal form. Thank you.